about the rules on arraignment and motion to quash. And I hope for the past na mga discussion, you learn something about the concept of criminal procedure, institutions of criminal action, the rules on preliminary investigations. And of course, our discussion last meeting is all about the rules on bail and the rights of the accused. So as a continuations of our discussion, so we are now in the rules on makita rang i-share na to nga kuan ba? Word, Microsoft.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's all about the rules on arraignment. So hopefully 3 weeks from now we can finish our discussion the entire scope of criminal procedure and court testimony. And after that, as I emphasize, you'll have a sort of validations of the topic that we discuss on criminal procedure and court testimony. Then, of course, we'll have the practice court relative to the last topic of the subject, court testimony. So take note that when the case or information is filed in court, pursuant to the rule, the court will schedule for arraignment. Basically, there will be a raffle of the case, especially if the court is composed of multi-sala. But if there is only one court within the place or locality, so no more raffle is conducted. So i-raffle lang na siya if daghan ang branches sa court, whether in the MTC ba siya or RTC, just like in Iligan City. Sa Iligan na to dira in Hall of Justice na atay unom ka branch sa RTC. So definitely if the penalty imposed is more than 6 years, so RTC man ang jurisdiction, so i-raffle na siya. So although there are cases wherein judge will inhibit the case by reasons of kanang gitawag nilang delikadisa. So there are instances wherein either the complainant or the relatives or the complainant or the accused is a relative with the judge. So definitely there will be an inhibition to observe called neutrality in court. So after the case is raffled, then the court will schedule the arraignment. That is why what is arraignment, how arraignment is made, okay? And what is the purpose of arraignment, what are the requisites, why there could be no trial without arraignment, and what is the effect if the court render decision without arraignment conducted or without complying this rule, the rules on arraignment. And what is the effect if the accused during this period or during arraignment has no counsel? One of the rights of the accused, as we discussed last week, is the right to counsel. How important is the right to counsel? So that is one of the reason why one of your classmates asking whether if you are a lawyer, you can defend yourself. Definitely, you can defend yourself, but as far as the proceeding is concerned, so you need to have a counsel in order that he will be the one to examine or present your testimony in court. and other witnesses, because definitely you cannot ask yourself during direct examination. Okay. Now, arraignment is the formal mode and manner of the implementing the constitutional rights of the accused to be informed the nature and the cause of accusations against him. So that is the uh, uh, proceeding where the accused is informed as to the cause of the allegation. So definitely, to simplify, arraignment is basahan ka sa information or basahan ka sa imong sumbong. It is a formal mode because that happens in court. Although, as we learn and understand in our previous discussion, or even in other subjects or courses, so we can still remember, or we learn that even in the conduct of preliminary investigation, or even in the conduct of a simple investigation, especially the investigation conducted by the police officer in relation to Republic Accident Portrait, the accused or the subject or the suspect is informed, diba, as to his right under investigation. So, kung dito ta sa, or diri ta sa court proceeding, that will happen during arraignment. So, it is on stages where the issues are joined in criminal action, and without which, meaning without this proceeding, there could be no advance, or there could be no trial. Otherwise, all the proceeding is deemed or declared void. So, if you are the accused, then you can raise this issue, di ba? Either for special petition for certiorari on the grounds of grave abuse of discretion amounting to or lack or excess of jurisdiction. Now, where and how must the arraignment of the accused be made? This is part of your question in your activity. So the accused must be arraigned before the court where the complaint or information was filed or assigned for trial. So as I emphasized kanina, after marapol ang imong kaso, like for example, kung naiupat ka branches ang RTC or ang MTC, so kung marapol siya dito sa branch to, so dito siya basahon. Sa maningon niya, where the complaint or information was filed or assigned for trial. So if it is assigned in branch to, so dito na siya basahon. Then the arraignment shall be made in open court by the judge or clerk furnishing the accused with a copy of the complaint or information. So definitely, kung imo na siyang i-simplify, tagaan ka og copy, but actually, dili man na ihatag sa imo, basahon lang sa imong tabangan. So the clerk, by furnishing the accused with a copy of the complaint or information and reading the same in the language. That is why the court will ask how the information is read in your present. So manang usahay maingon ang judge or through the interpreter or the clerk of court sa makasabot ba ka sa English, di ba? Definitely, di ba? Manang maingon ka nga dili sir, so the information now is translated in the language in which you can understand. So meaning sa imong dialect. So manang pangutanon man ka, how is the information is read to you in English or in any dialect. Usahay pod maingon makasabot ba ka og English. Because definitely makita man na sa imong degree of profession. Like for example, if you are a college graduate, so it is assumed na makasabot yung ka sa English language. So manaingon niya, with a copy of the complaint or information, reading the same in the language or dialect known to him. And of course, after reading the information, the court will ask, how do you enter your plea, or what is your plea? So manaingon niya, and asking him whether he pleads guilty or not guilty. Then the prosecution may call at the trial witnesses other than those named in the complaint or information. Now, take note that the accused must be present at the arraignment and must personally enter his plea. That is one of the requirements. That is one of the reasons why could there be a valid arraignment without the presence of the accused? So the answer is no. Why? Because the rule provides that it must be in the presence of the accused. So that is one of the requisites. Muna, kung pangutanon ka, what are the requisites for valid arraignment? So una nimo nga tubag is that a complaint or information is filed before competent court nga naay jurisdiction. So that is why it was filed in the court nga naay jurisdiction. Then, of course, ang ikaduha na din makita nimo nga there must be presence of the accused. So dili pwede basahon by substitution or in the presence of your lawyer or counsel. Then, both arraignment, di ba, and plea shall be made of record. But failure to do so shall not affect the validity of the proceeding as long as it is complied with the basics requirement. Now, what is the plea now of the accused? Di ba? Possible man na unsay plea sa accused. Di ba? After gibasa ang information sa imo, gipangutana ka unsay imong ikasulti sa imong sumbong, what is your plea? What is your possible plea? So munang maingon din ta, when the accused refuses to plead or make a conditional plea, di ba? So dili ka mo tubag or dili jud ka mo kanang maingon mo tingog, no answer. Pagpangutana sa korte unsay imong ikasulti sa imong sumbong, what is your plea, then you never or the accused did not answer or reply. Diba? So what is now the plea of the accused? So that is equivalent to not guilty. Or kung naay conditional plea, di ba? So the most common example of conditional plea is, di ba? Sir, ang kuno nako pero so meaning naay condition, pero dili sa robbery, sir. Thief raman to sa siya. So that is equivalent to not guilty. Di ba? Or sir, nagdepensa raman ko. So naa siya nag-invoke ka og exculpatory evidence. Mao na ingon niya sa number 3, state the effect if the accused plead guilty but present exculpatory evidence. So mingon gyud tag exculpatory evidence, then you can relate this to your article 11, article 12 of the revised penal code. So these are grounds that will justify or will exempt you from criminal liability. The most common example is self-defense. Sir, nagdepensa raman ko. So imong giangkon nga ikaw nagpatay in the crimes of homicide nga gipile sa imo pero nagdepensa raman ka. So as we learn in article 11, klaro kayo siya. Di ba? So klaro kayo sa article 11 kung na justifying circumstance, then the accused is not criminally and civilly liable. Why? Because definitely the accused acted with unsa man siya in accordance with law. So mo na siya mahitabo. So therefore, that is equivalent to plea of not guilty. Mo na ingon niya, when the accused pleads guilty but present exculpatory evidence, his plea shall be deemed withdrawn, and a plea of not guilty shall be entered for him. So mo na ko ang pangutana, unsaon nimo unsay plea sa accused kung mag-present sa exculpatory, di ba? Evident. So that is equivalent to not guilty. Kung dili mo tingog, that is equivalent to not guilty. Kung na conditional plea, the same. That is not guilty. Kung mag-interpose ka o mga exculpatory evidence, imong gi-admit ang charge, diba, ang crime, pero nag-present kag exculpatory evidence, then that is equivalent to not guilty. Why? Because ang imong plea of guilty is automatically withdrawn and entered dito ang plea of not guilty. So that is why you have to consider that. Because these are example of some question in the board exam. You will be given a scenario and pangutanon ka, what is now the plea of the accused? Yeah. Then, state the rules to be followed if the accused is under detention, but he has not yet been arraigned. So, you will relate this in your criminal law. 1, yapon, katong gitawag na to nga preventive detention. So, unsa kuno yung mahitabo? So meaning, if the person is now under preventive detention, if you can still recall or remember, preventive detention exists when the person is charged for non-bailable crime. That's number 1. Diba? So get charged ka, like for example, for crime punishable by reclusion perpetua, as we discussed last meeting, di man ka pwede mag-bail. Or kung get charged po ka sa crime nga bailable, ang problema kay wala kay pang bail. Or you cannot be released through recognizance. So manang ingon nila nga whether you like it or not, kung direta sa iligan, so matulog jud ka dito sa jail or sa tipanoy. So manang ingon niya, while Republic Act 8493 or otherwise known as the Law on Speedy Trial. This is why kung pangutanon ka what is Republic Act 8493, that is the Law on Speedy Trial. So unsay ingon niya, provides that the accused shall be arraigned within 30 days from the time that the court acquired jurisdiction over his person. Muna, kung pangutanon ka, diba? How long is the period of arraignment? So your answer is with 30 days. That's the maximum period. So, ngano 30 days man, sir, that is in consonant with Republic Act 8493. Diba? Because one of the rights of the accused, as we discussed last meeting yapon, to have a speedy, impartial, and public trial. So, muna siya. But ang pangutana, sir, may the period of arraignment reduce, diba? Is the period is 30 days can be reduced into shorter period? The answer is yes. Manaingon niya, diba? Section 1, paragraph E provides for a certain time in which the accused who is under preventive detention should be arraigned. Meaning, it can be shortened, but it cannot be extended. To simplify, ang period nga 30 days by pwede ma-shorten if the law provides. Manaingon niya, unless the law provides shorter period, then it can be shortened other than 30 days. Pero if the law is silent as to the period of arraignment, therefore, we will apply the provisions of Republic Act 8493, that the maximum period of arraignment is within 30 days from the time that the court acquires jurisdiction over the accused or over the person. So, sa may example, sir, nga ang arraignment, sir, is shorter than 30 days. So, if you read Republic Act 7610, that is the child abuse. So, ang arraignment dito is 3 days lang after the filing of complaint or information. Ano 3 days man, sir? Because the law provide. Manaingon ako nga, unless the law provides shorter period. That is why also when the accused is detained, di ba? Kung ang tao gali is under preventive ingon siya, dapat basahan ka within 10 days. Yeah? Within 10 days lang. Manaingon niya, if the person is under preventive detention, dapat basahan ka within 10 days from the raffle of the case. And of course, if a trial conference shall be held within 10 days after arraignment, that is true only if the accused will not enter a plea of guilty. So there should always be a pre-trial. Because pre-trial, as we go on in the next Rule 118, is mandatory in all criminal cases. So take note, the rule on speedy trial, as far as the rules on arraignment is concerned, how long is the period of arraignment? What is the effect if the person is under preventive detention in relation to arraignment? So, dapat i-arraign siya within 10 days. Diba? So, within 10 days. Now, diba? What are the purposes for which the offended party may be required to offer at the arraignment? So, take note, we are talking about the victim or the complainant. So, is the victim required or the presence of the complainant or the offended party required in court? So, these are one of the questions. Kaya kung maingon ta, when is the presence of the accused is mandatory in court? So, pwede ta, mandatory ang akusado during arraignment. So, kaya di man pwede basahan kung walay akusado. So, at least na natay answer dira kung gana nga pangutana. Diba? So, ang pangutana diri is dili sa akusado, kundi sa complainant or the victim. So, muna ang pangutanon ka, sir, necessary ba ang biktima or sa complainant during arraignment or in trial? So if the answer is yes, is kano sa man ang mahitabo. Because as a rule, dinili man sa kinahanglan. As a rule. Although naa sa exception nga kinahanglanon. So muna ning pangutana nat dire, di ba? Muna ingon niya, the private offended party, meaning the complainant, shall be required, di ba? That is why mandatory to offer at the arraignment for purposes of plea bargaining. So that is one of the reason or the answer. So meaning, during arraignment, if the accused will, unsa man siya, kanang gitawag na to nga willing siya, mag-bargain siya. Unsa may example sa plea bargaining? Anyway, we'll discuss that gapon kumadto tag pre-trial because one of the subject during pre-trial conference is ang plea bargaining. So kanang magsabot-sabot ka ba? Like for example, i-charge ko og homicide, kamo ang complainant, di ba? Gi-charge ko og murder. So mo play bargain ko, meaning ang kuno nako pero mo bargain ko sa inyo as complainant or as the prosecution nga homicide lang. So mo na ang rason nga no kinanglanon ang unsa man presensya sa complainant. So because there are things nga imong i-consider. You imagine from murder to homicide. But you have to consider that because ang kaso manggod, it takes time manggod. Dili man siya dali. Imagine nimo, you will not go to trial na ang kuno nako but for homicide. One of the most common example na is, of course, di ba? My uncle who was charged for the crime of murder, nag-plea guilty siya, nag-plea bargain siya for homicide. Of course, the complainant ni sugot raman po. So that is an example lang. Because in that case, ang edad sa kong uncle, 40 na kapin. So these are the things na makita nimo. So, gi-charge siya murder, nag-plea bargain siya nga homicide. And you know what is the penalty of homicide as compared to murder? Because as you learn in your criminal law, ang murder is punishable by reclusion perpetua man, 21 day to 40. But if homicide lang, that is 12 years, 1 day to 20 years. So these are the things nga makita nimo. Murago na siya, kung ang complainant by is kita, dayon ang atong gisumbong akusado, 50 na kapin. Di ba? So kung ako na, madali. Para madali na lang is ipuli pa sugot, nag-plea bargain para mapriso. Wala na trial, diretso judgment. Because you imagine, ang edad sa akusado, 55. So assuming kung sentensyahan siya maximum, di ba? 12 years, 1 day to 20, or the most common example na lang guys, minimum 12 years. So pila na yung edad. Makagawas manggaling siya, o mabuhi pa manggaling siya, yung edad 70 na po almost. That's one of the example lang. So nga na yung mga inana nga situation. Diba? So take note, these are example. Then, aside from that, determinations of civil liability and other matters requiring his presence. Because inahanglan po ang presensya sa complainant because we have to talk also the civil aspect of the case. Naman ay damage. Diba? Manang usahay dito na sa damage, of course, diba? Mo-plea guilty siya for lesser offense or plea bargaining, including the civil liability. Diba? Kaya naman ay giterm na to dayon nga damage. Like for example, from dili ta magisgot og patay, kawata o gi-charge ta robbery. Diba? Mo plea guilty ta, magbargain ta to thief lang siya. So like for example, if I am the complainant, so musugot ko, provided nga you have to return the value of the property. Diba? Like for example, ang value sa gikawat ba is 100,000. Sige. Diba? Di na ta mo atong trial, ang kuno nimo, but you have to return the value of the property. So, then plea guilty ka for the crimes of theft. So, ang sentensya nimo, gi-charge ka robbery, pero ang sentensya sa imo isang theft. That is, pwede na siya. Provided, nga mo sugot ka. That is why, the consent of the offended party, the presence of the offended party in this proceeding is required. Kung na ay bargaining. Mabitan ng term bargain kay magsabot. Yeah? Kisay sabuton nimo dira kung wala ang complainant. So, definitely, dili gina siya mahitabo. But there are instances where the court will agree that the accused will the accused is allowed to plea bargaining provided that the accused is provided that the offended party is duly notified. Sabot pasabot na. So kung kita ang complainant, gi-notify ta. No, yung mga complainant kinahanglan mo tunga mo dani. Kaya nga naman because nagmanifest ang accused nga mag-plea bargain siya. So despite of the notice given to us, wala ta nito nga. So that's the reason why nga the court will rule. Pwede na siya. As long as gi-notify ta. Then, ang failure na to nga dili ta mo to nga sa korte is unjustifiable. So that is one of the exception. Muna ingon niya, sir, what is the effect if the offended party fails to offer at the time of the arraignment? Unsay may tabo? Muna ingon niya, in case of failure of the offended party to offer despite due notice, muna nitong giisgutan. The court ni allow. That is why may allow. Pwede. The accused to enter a plea of guilty to a lesser offense which is necessarily included in the offense with the conformity of the trial prosecutor. So meaning, of course, you have the court will ask the prosecutor. Meaning, ang nanumbong. Because take note, in criminal case, it shall be prosecuted by the fiscal. Di ba? Kaya kung ako'y fiscal, masugot na lang ko, ano man. Take note, it takes time ang trial. So, para ma-simplify, ma-surety, and that is one of the reason why na ay mga remedy. Just like, I know you're familiar about with the plea bargaining rules sa drugs, di ba? Para di na ta makadug trial, plea bargain ka. Pag ang kuno nimo, then the judge will sentence. Automatic siya. That is to speed up because it takes time. Although na mga instances nga dili pwede i-allow, but take note that the same with that concept, nga no i-allow siya. To speed up the dispositions of cases. Okay. Now, within what period should the accused be arraigned? So, ato na nang giansiran ka ganina. Di ba? The arraignment shall be held within 30 days from the date that the court acquired jurisdiction over the persons of the accused. Take note, as I emphasized ka ganina, unless a shorter period is provided by special law or by the Supreme Court circular. Then it was noted here that certain laws and Supreme Court circular provide for a certain time which the accused should be arraigned. So, under Republic Act 4908, what if, sir, if the accused is about to depart the Philippines? Di ba? These are things nga may considered with no definite date to return. So, manaingon niya, the accused should be arraigned without delay. And his trial should commence within 3 days from the arraignment, and no postponement of initial hearing should be granted, except, di ba, on the ground of illness on the part of the accused or other ground beyond the control of the court. Oh. Or another example, under, as I emphasized kanina, under Republic Act 1716, the trial shall commence within 3 days from arraignment. So dapat within 3 days. So ang rason lagi there is that there is in order to observe the rules on speedy trial. So there are instances wherein ang 30 days mas shorten siya, as emphasized a while ago. Now, the question now is, sir, during arraignment, what are the duties of the court? Kung sa may duty gid sa korte. So manaingon niya, the duty of the court include the following. 1, it must inform the defendant that is his right to have an attorney before arraignment. So, mabida na ingon ako kaganina that you will be, so in relation to our discussion last week, that one of the rights of the accused is the right to counsel, to have his own counsel. Manang word bitaw dito is preferably by his own choice. Di ba? Mabitaw na ingon, unsa na concept, unsa extend na ng preferably by his own choice, sir, if you can afford. That's the answer there. Eh, you cannot claim nga, sir, ang gusto na kong abogado kanin siya. No? Pwede man na. Provided nga makaya niyo. Di ba? Just like mga celebrities nga mga case na to, di ba? Kita na to, nga mga abogado, grabe kayo, mga bigatin. Oh. Pwede na, if you can afford. Then, after giving such information, the court may ask him if he desires the aid of an attorney. If he desires and unable to employ an attorney, so dili niya makaya, mo din ang the court will appoint counsel, the officio, to defend him. And that is the reason why we have the public attorney's office. That is why the government create that, of course, agency in order to defend the accused. Mo nang counterpart na sila sa prosecution na office. Although, they are the same under the umbrella of the Department of Justice. Di ujira na sila tanan. Diba? Under the office of the President. That is why, last dayon, if the accused desires to procure an attorney of his own, of course, he will be given reasonable time. Muna, mag-manifest ka sa korte nga judge, mangita kog abogado nga mo defensa sa ako. Okay. You will be given time. Thus, before arraignment, the court shall inform the accused of his right to counsel and ask him if he desires to have one. Unless the accused is allowed to defend himself, di ba, in person or has employed counsel of his own choice, the court must assign a counsel the officio to defend him. That is one of the reasons na makita ninyo section 6, di ba? Unless the accused is allowed to defend himself in person. Oh, pwede na siya. Pero logical lagi ato na nang explain sa oni mo kung ikaw na i-present. Who will ask yourself? Di ba? So mga manang ingon lagi nila nga dili siya logical kung ingon ka nga kung ako ang abogado, ako pong akusado, mingon lugar ko sa akong kaugalingon asa man kada nang adlaw din ako ra poy motubag. It could be an impossible siya. Di ba? So, take note of that. Then, when an accused enter a plea to a lesser offense, so muna rin unsay metabo. At the arraignment, the accused with the consent of the offended party. So mo nang kaganina ato na nang siyang kuan. That is why our previous discussion ma-relate na to. Oh. So mo na ingon niya the accused with the consent of the offended party mo nang during na siya sa plea bargaining may tabo. Oh. From gi-charge ka, for example, kaganina, murder to homicide. So manang niya, with the consent of the offended party and the prosecutor may be allowed by the trial court to plead guilty to a lesser offense, which is necessarily included in the offense charge. After dayon, arraignment, but before trial, take note, the accused may still be allowed. Sir, human naman ang arraignment. Di ba? Ang pangutanan ako, sir, is pwede ba nga mag-manifest ko, nga mo-plead guilty ko lesser offense? Di ba? The answer is yes. But you have to withdraw your plea of not guilty. Pwede na siya. As long as wala pa judgment become final. Wala pa judgment. Kaya pwede man na last week, gibasahan ta. Nag-plea not guilty ta. So we realize nga, mas may na lang siguro nga mag-plea guilty ta og lesser offense. Di ba? So ang pangutana din na, pwede pa ba na siya? The answer is yes. You just inform the court through your counsel. Nga you are willing to withdraw your plea of guilty to di ba? Plea of not guilty to guilty. But of course, the same nga procedure. You have to inform the court. Kay, of course, kung kita ang complainant, kita ang prosecutor, we have to oppose or mag-comment po da. Nga dili ni masugot or masugot ni. That is the only things nga may tabo naman. Then, what must the court do if the accused enter a plea of guilty to a capital offense? So, ang pangutana dira karon is kung capital offense, di ba? You try to imagine, get-charged tag rape with homicide. Gi-rape na to, gipatay. During sa arraignment, ningon ang korte or ang judge or ang clerk, unsay kasulti niya sumbong. So, we just simply answer, guilty, your honor, or guilty, sir, guilty judge. Ang kunon. Imagine, perpetua to death ang sentensya or capital offense if napay death penalty, sentensya is death, kamatayon. Then, sa simple lang tubag, imong giangkonon, sir. So, ang pangutana now, diha karon is that, what is now the duty of the court? Unsay buhaton sa korte kung nag-plead guilty ang akusado to a capital offense. Take note, capital offense, as we go on, makita na niyang definition dira. Muna sa penalty or crime, ang penalty is kamatayon. I know you encounter that in your criminal law. In relation to your correction, makita na niyo. Di ba? So, muna ingon niya, when the accused, di ba, pleads guilty to a capital offense, unsay buhaton ko na sa korte, the court will conduct searching inquiry. So, the question now is, what is the purpose of searching inquiry? Di ba? Search and inquire. Di ba? Ano kinahanglan pa man gyud siya? So mo na ingon nila, kinahanglanon siya para makita nimo kung naabay full comprehension and ang iyang pag-plea of guilty to a capital offense is voluntary ba pud. Pag moingon tag full comprehension as to the consequence of his plea, meaning kabalo ba ka unsay dangatan kung imo ning angkunon. That's the logic ngano kinahanglan ang searching inquiry. Manaingon niya, and to provide his guilt and the precise degree of culpability. Then apoy pangutana na po dahil, sir, ngano kinahanglan pa man ang receptions of evidence? Manaingon niya, the accused may present evidence in his behalf. Ngano kinahanglan pa man ang, di ba, ebidensya. Yang ko nagali siya, sir, di ba? These are logic nga mga pangutana. Di ba? Yang ko na nimo, na-guilty na ka, kinahanglan pa dahil ang ebidensya. Di ba? So take note and remember, you try to imagine gali. Gibasahan lang ka, then giangkon nimo. So nana ba ebidensya makita sa judge dira? Wala. Then kung ikaw ang judge, unsa may basis nimo sa imong penalty nga impose, including the civil liability fee. So that's the reason and that is the logic why ngano ang ebidensya kinahanglanon gyapon para ang korte maka-establish siya og insakto nga penalty nga mahatag niya sa akusado. Including the civil liability, if any. So sa may basihan, like for example, involving, di ba, robbery with homicide, involving rape with homicide. So, kung saan nyo pag-determine sa value sa damage nila, kung walay ebidensya. And most likely, before ang biktima namatay, na-hospital pa siya. Di ba? Sa pagka-hospital niya, ang complainant or ang relative sa biktima nga namatay, nakagasto pa og 100,000. Then how to recover this 100,000? Of course, through receipts na. Dili lang ka moingon nga, sir, damage na ni is 1 million. You cannot do that. you have to establish evidence. Of course, proof. Document, what is? Kung naay billing sila sa hospital nga mo na kantidad, then most likely kana inyong i-present. So that's the reason why kinahanglan gyapon siya. Manaingon niya, the court shall conduct a searching inquiry into the voluntariness and full comprehensions of the consequences of his plea. And shall require the prosecution to provide his guilt and the precise degree of culpability. Insakto nga mahatag. Because I will give you an example na scenario. Okay. Ang tao gi-charge siya og capital offense. So ang inanik siya, gibasahan siya sa korte, then ingon ang court, how do you, or what is your plea? How do you enter your plea? So niingon ang akusado nga, guilty, your honor. Diba? So that is why the court nag-initial siya og inquire. Diba? Kabalo ba ka nga kung ang kunon nimo ni siya, mapriso ka? So definitely niingon ang akusado, yes sir, mapriso ko. Niingon na po din ang judge. Kabalo ba ka nga kung mapriso ka 20 ka tuig ngadto sa 40 ka tuig, perpetua example, di ba? So niingon ang akusado, 20 to 40 years dahil sir, mapriso ko, di na lang nako ang kunon. So definitely, that is equivalent to not guilty. That's the reason why kinahanglan ang searching inquiry. Kabalo ba ka unsay consequence? Unsay mahitabo nimo kung imo ning ang kunon, di ba? So kabalo siya, iyang hunahuna sa akusado is na mapriso lang siya. Pero sadyang niingon ang judge, mapriso ka 20 ka tuig ngadto na sa 40 ka tuig. So ang akusado na change iyang hunahuna, di na lang niya ang kunon. So definitely, that's the reason why kinahanglan ang right to counsel. Diba? Because ang abogado dili man na mo assure kung ikaw ang akusado nga di ka mapriso. But as much as possible, kung mapriso manggaling ka, at least ma-reduce ang imong sentensya. Mamitigit lang siya. So, mamanay reason. Mabitan lang kung ikaw good lawyer, especially if you are, di ba, in the defense, sa akusado ka, you will not guarantee the accused nga dili siya mapriso, ma-acquitted siya. But you will guarantee nga at least man lang nga afforded siya sa iyang katungod while ang kaso napinding sa korte. So, mamanay siya reason. Di man ginaingon nga, di ba? Abogado ka kay assure nga acquitted ang akusado. No. You cannot do that. You cannot promise the accused nga ma-acquitted siya. Di ba? Acquitted lang, it is klaro nga ebidensya. But as to the consequence, di ba? Di ba? So dili nimo na siya. So take note the concept. Then what is the purpose of ato na nang gitubag, di ba? What is the purpose of searching inquiry? Di ba? So the purpose of searching inquiry is to determine whether there is improvident plea. Yeah? So manang take note this term improvidently, if you will be asked. So that is a plea without proper information as to all the circumstances affecting it, based upon a mistaken assumption or misleading information or advice. That is one of the reason why, ato example kaganina, di ba? Aware ang akusado nga mapriso siya pero wala siya kabalo as to the consequence. Di ba? Di ba? How long is the period kung mapriso siya? Kaya siguro kung ikaw tong accused initially, di nakabalo ka nga kung ang kuno nimo, ang sentensya inanak kadako. So definitely during sa arraignment, di na ka moingon nga ang kunon sir. Moingon jud kag not guilty. So that is to ensure, di ba? Na wala by improvident plea. Now, conviction in a capital offense, di ba, cannot rest alone on the plea of guilty. That's the another reason. Diba? So, manaingon niya, nga kung makonvicted man galing ka, that is why is in capital offense, cannot rest alone on a plea of guilty. Meaning, by a mere simple plea, nga imong giangkod. Di ba? Manaingon niya, a free and intelligence plea is required. That's the reason why, nga no, na-searching inquiry. Then, it is mandatory for all trial court to require the prosecution to present its evidence. And if the accused to desire to allow him to submit his evidence. This is so even if the accused formally manifests that he waives presentations of evidence by the prosecution. So, this is the same explanation. Okay. Now, sir, how about, sir, kung dili siya capital offense? Diba? So, unsay may tabo kung ang akusado nag-enter og plea of not guilty to a capital offense. Example lang, gi-charge ka og theft, gi-charge ka robbery. So ang penalty is dili siya capital. So meaning dili siya death penalty or now reclusion perpetua. So when the accused plead guilty, take note to a non-capital offense. Take note what is the effect is it is an issue whether or not ang searching inquiry is kinanglanon pa ba siya, mandatory ba siya. Take note if it is a non-capital offense, searching inquiry is discretionary. Take note of that. So manang for purposes of the board exam, of course, pag not capital offense or non-capital offense, that is discretionary. Meaning, depende na sa korte. That is why the court is not mandated to conduct searching inquiry. Ngano dili siya mandated, sir, because that is discretionary. But most likely, depende na sa judge. Manang this is an issue kung sa judge na. That is why you cannot question kung ingon ka nga, sir, wala may searching inquiry nga nahitabo. So dili siya, since it's not mandatory, so it's lies. It's within the discretions of the judge. Maningon niya, the court may receive evidence from the parties to determine the precise penalty to be imposed. Pero actually, ang hitabo na is sa abogado naman. That is one of the reason why nga no, na ay counsel during arraignment. So dito na gid ni makita daan sa abogado pa nimo. May the accused withdraw his plea of guilty. So sir, during arraignment sir, giangko na nako sir. Nag-ingon ako guilty. So since akong huna-una sir, lahi man tong kaganina sir nga tong discussion kay not guilty man to imong gihuna-una, ngay mag-angkono na lang nako. So ang scenario is reverse, di ba? During arraignment nag-plea guilty ka. Pero na-realize nimo nga puro di man ko sadaan. So pwede pa ba nimo withdrawn? Then what is the effect kung imong i-withdraw siya? Di ba? Can it be used as evidence against you? Because definitely, moingon man jud nga, sir, iya nagali nang giangkon during arraignment. So, sadaan gina siya. So, what is now the rules on presumption in evidence? So, take note, at any time, before judgment of conviction becomes final. So, take note of that. Sa wala pa'y final judgment, the court may permit an improvident plea of guilty to be withdrawn and be substituted by a plea of not guilty. So, ato na lang i-define kanina. So, i-allow lang siya kung improvidently. Meaning, that is a plea without proper information as to the circumstances affecting it. So, imo na siyang i-consider. So, pwede. Basta wala pa'y final judgment. Naunsa ning bill of particular. What is bill of particular? Yeah. So, ang bill of particular, under the rules on evidence, makita niya na sa arraignment. I will give you an example. So, karon naman jud ka sa imong di ba? Bangko nga imong gingkoran or higdaan nga kuan, di ba? Kaya naghigda-higda raman ka karon. Orang uban sa inyo. So nakadungog ka o nainamaligya og isda. So isda. So ningon ka nga, pilang kilo ma'am? Di ba? Kung ikaw tong namaligya, di ba? Eh wala man imo naklaro siguro unsa iyang gipangutana. So maingon ka nga dong unsa kala imong pangutana. So imo ginang buhaton. So di jud ka maingon diretso nga tamban or 50 kilo. And what is the reason? Because you are not sure unsay gipangutana sa iyo. Now, this concept of bill of particular is similar to that example. Unsay mahitabo kung gi-charge ka og crime or information in which you found out that the allegations of the information is ambiguous. So meaning na ay ambiguity. Dili ka sure kung unsa ni siya. Robbery ba ni siya or theft? So, may nana siya nga concept. So, manaingon niya, they accuse me. So, sa wala pa daw. Wala pa'y arraignment. Move for a bill of particular to enable him to plead and prepare for trial. So, the motion shall specify the alleged defects of the complaint or information and the details desired. So, ang pasabot na ng bill of particular, So mo na imong i-file nga motion sa korte para ang court unsa man require sa prosecution to specify the alleged defect in the complaint or information. For what reason, sir? Para kung ikaw ang akusado, maklaro nimo unsa gi-file sa imo. Manaingon niya to enable him properly to plead and prepare for trial or valid defense. So parihara na kaganina nga pato ang imong itubag, mangutana ka og balik. Just like during recitation, if you are not sure unsay gipangutana sa imong maestro, moingon jog ka dira nga, sir, pwede nimo usbon pagpangutana. Unsay purpose nga no mangutana ka sa imong, you are asking your teacher or professor to ask or to refute the questions para insakto ang imong tubag. Di ba? Or matubag nimo siya insakto. Sama ra gyapon na siya. If there is alleged defect in the complaint or information before arraignment, before entering plea, you have to move for a bill of particular to the court for the court to grant and order the prosecution to specify the alleged defect in the complaint or information. So ang imong purpose is para klarohon. Ang purpose sa bill of particular not to dismiss but to correct lang alleged defect in the complaint or information para klarohon sa prosecution unsay gisumbong nila sa imo. That's the concept of bill of particular. Manaingon niya, yeah? What is the effect of bill of di ba? Effect of failure to file a bill of particulars. Unsay may tabo, sir? Diba? Manaingon niya, the court will order the prosecution to specify the allegations of the informations of the accused to enter and prepare a valid defense. Take note of that. Now, sir, during arraignment, sir, wala ko'y abogado. So, dili na rin tumugawas tong counsel de officio. So, unsa ning counsel de officio? And what is the purpose of counsel de officio? Then kinsay mo appoint, of course, the court. So manaingon niya, the court considering the gravity of the offense and the difficulty of the questions that may arise. The court shall appoint as counsel de officio, of course, it's a lawyer, a member of the bar in good standing. By reasons of their experience and ability, can competently defend the accused. Of course, pag abogado ka, di naman na-issue dirang competent ba ka? Lawyer ka. Diba? But in localities where such member of the bar are not available, the court may appoint any person, diba? Residents of the province and of good repute for probity and ability to defend the accused. Actually, diba? Kaning counsel de officio not necessary man siya abogado based on Section 7 of Rule 116. Because in area kuno nga walay member of the bar, meaning walay abogado, walay lawyer, pwede kuno ang court mag-appoint of course, person nga naay good repute for probity and ability. So meaning, naay kahibalo nga mo depensa sa akusado. But take note, as of our present nga situation, wala na siya. So sa una ni siya, nga wala pa yung mga abogado. Katong sa mga areas nga walay abogado na makita, so pwede ni mahitabo. Pero karon wala. That is one of the reason why we have the PAO. So the court is mandated to appoint from the public attorney's office. Mabita na sila. Manang kanang sa PAO, example sa Iligan, napo na sila yung mga assign nga korte asa sila mo appear. Diba? So nana sila. Muna pareha na kung ang prosecutor na ay mga korte nga asa sila nga branch, asa sila na assign, the same yapon ang PAO. So take note of that. Now, take note, sir, if I am now the lawyer appointed as counsel de officio, so unsa may akong buhaton? So take note, whenever the counsel de officio is appointed by the court to defend the accused at the arraignment, he shall be given reasonable time to consult. Kaya nani man ang mahitabo. So, manang mingon ang judge, naba kay abogado, pangutanaw ng akusado, judge wala ra ba dira. So, unsa may imong plano? Mangita kag kaugalingon ng mga abogado? Kanang imong choice? So wala ko'y kwarta judge. So manang definitely mo ingon jud nga judge dili ra ba ko ka-afford. That is why the judge now will appoint the attorney most likely lagi from the PAO So the PAO now will act as the counsel of the accused during the arraignment. So if you are now the PAO or the lawyer appointed as counsel de officio, so sa may imong buhaton? So manang maingon dayon ka nga, Judge, may I ask a period of time, di ba, to consult the accused as to his plea. Kaya nga naman, because that is the time lang nagkita mo sa akusado. Di ba? So, sa may imong buhaton. So, ayaw, ignadiretso ang korte nga basahe, Judge, kay maminaw mi. No. You have to ask reasonable time. So, that is why the court will give you ample time. So, istorya sa akusado. Muna, kung ikaw akong abogado, ako ang akusado, so imo kong pangutanon. Muna, usahay, makita nimo nga, unsa man, suspend saan arraignment. Pila ka oras. Kaya mo mang konsultahon ng akusado. So, muna may kang mangayo ka og reasonable time. Muna ang pangutana, what is reasonable time? So, ang reasonable time dia is na period of time nga maistorya nimo ang akusado as to the crime charged against him. So, that's the reason why ngano the court will allow the counsel de officio to consult the accused. Then, when may the court suspend the arraignment? So, muna rin yung pangutana. What are the grounds para i-suspend ang arraignment? So, as we discussed in Rule 111, we encounter prejudicial question. That's number one. Sa dihang nag-discuss taong preliminary investigation, masuspend ang arraignment kung na-petition for review, di ba? Pending before the Department of Justice or to the Office of the President. But take note, the suspension is good only for 60 days. As you encounter in Rule 112, Article 12 of the Revised Penal Code, that is exempting circumstance. One of the grounds para ma-exempt ka sa criminal liability is insanity of the accused. And what is the effect if the accused acted with the lucid interval, during lucid interval? So meaning, ang akusado sa diyang nag-commit siya og crime, normal siya. Pero ang problema after the commissions of the crime, so of course, tungod siguro sa iyang kaguol nga nakakommit sa crime, so nawala siya sa iyang kaugalingon. So there is now what we call, di ba, suspension of arraignment. Manaingon niya, the following are the grounds for suspension of arraignment. One, the accused appeared to be suffering from unsound mental condition, which effectively rendered him unable to fully understand the charge against him and to plead intelligently thereto. In such case, the court shall order his mental examination and, if necessary, his confinement for such purpose. That is why, to simplify, kanang taas kay nga sentence niya is, one, is insanity of the accused. That's the only answer nimo, to simplify. Ikaduha, there exists a prejudicial question, as we discussed that in Rule 111. And of course, kaning ikatulo, a petition for review of the resolutions of the prosecutor is pending at either at the DOJ or at the Office of the President. Take note, in the last 2016 and board examination, this was asked in the exam. Unsa nga ground ang sa suspension for arraignment nga nag-provide kuno og specific period for suspension. Take note, that's number 3. So mo nang ingon nila, a petition for review on the resolutions of the prosecutor is pending in the DOJ. Why? Because the period of suspension is good only for 60 days. Manaingon niya, provided that the period of suspension shall not exceed 60 days, counted from the filing of the petition with the reviewing office. Take note of that. Kaya kung insanity, wala man na period. Huwag di ka maulian, di ka ibalik sa korte. Di ba? Prejudicial question, hangtod nga dili ma-resolve ang issue sa civil case. Di gina ma-trial ang criminal case. So wala na sila specific period. That is why in the last board examination, di ba? Not last board examination, in 2016 rather. Di ba? When I was in Peter pa. Kana siya gipangutana. So unsa nga ground nga sa suspension for arraignment nga nag-provide kuno og definite nga period. Di ba? And that is the answer in number 3. So that is why you have to consider this. Kahit possible man po nga pangutana, how long is the period of suspension? kung naay petition for the Department of Justice or petition for review before the DOJ. As far as arraignment is concerned, take note, the answer is 60 days. Okay. Muna yung niya, note, there are 3 major criteria to determine insanity as was ruled or applied in the case of People versus Dungo. So of course, delusion test, irresistible impulse test, and the right and wrong test. So, saan yung delusion test? Ano, you encounter this in your human behavior and crisis management. You encounter this. Okay. Insanity is manifested by false belief for which there is no reasonable basis and which would be incredible under given circumstances, which, of course, psychologists can clearly explain what is delusion is. So, of course, that is false belief from the word delusion. Naman tayo gitawag dito nga first stage of insanity. Then, irresistible impulse test from the word, that is irresistible. From the word irresistible, you cannot resist. So, the accused has lost the power to choose between right and wrong. To avoid the act in question, his prey agency being at the time destroyed. And of course, the third one is the right and wrong test. Perpetrated conditions of mental and moral faculties as to render the person incapable of distinguishing between right and wrong. Okay. Now, in relation to People versus Pascual, di ba, which is adopted under the rules on evidence also, so there are only 2 tests, the test of cognition and the test of volition. So, pag may tag cognition is complete deprivations of intelligence in committing the criminal act. Meaning, at the time of the commissions of the crime, so ang tao is incapable of intelligently giving what is his right to perception, depriving intelligence. Then, of course, in volition, total deprivations of free will. So, total deprivations of free will, meaning, of course, from the word free will, di ba? Your capacity to recognize between what is good from bad. Di ba? So, kung wala kay capacity to recognize whether it is right or wrong, of course, totally, wala kay gitawag na to nga, kanang gitawag na to nga pangsakto nga pang una-una. Deprive ka totally. Di ba? So, for that reason, and in relation to Article 12, the person is exempt from criminal liability. Okay. Now, what is the remedy of the accused before arraignment? Di ba? So, muna dahil niya itong hisgutan. It's more on summary, di ba? Of Rule 116. So, before arraignment and plea, the accused may avail of any of the following. So, ang pasabot na is kung ikaw akusado or we are the accused of crime, kung siya itong buhaton sa wala pa'y arraignment. So, that is one is bail of particular. And what is the purpose of bail of particular? To enable us to properly plead and prepare for trial. That's one of the reasons. Okay. Kung dili manggaling bail of particular imong i-twist, kung imong i-avail, mag-file ka og suspension for arraignment. Diba? As we discussed kanina, pwede ka nga, if you are the counsel of the accused, imong ipasuspend ang arraignment. So, on what ground? Of course, ato na nang gisgutan kaganina. Diba? Unaingon niya, upon motions of the proper party may ask for suspension and arraignment to pursue a petition for review before the Department of Justice. But of course, the suspension shall not exceed 60 days. Okay. Number 3, na pwede nimo gamiton. So, you can file motion to quash as we will discuss later. Diba? So, motion to quash, under Rule 117. Because ang motion to quash is a remedy gamiton sa akusado before arraignment yapon. Sa dili pakabasahan. Manaingon niya, at any time before entering his plea, the accused may move to quash the complaint or informations on the ground under Section 3 of Rule 117. So, pwede na nimo buhaton. Sir, unsay kalainan sa bill of particular sa motion to quash? As we go on, tagmisgot motion to quash, ang purpose na is para i-dismiss ang information. Definitely, pag ma-dismiss ang complaint or information, then i-release ta. So, muna imong purpose. Ang bill of particular, dili. Ang imong purpose lang is, dili ma-dismiss ang kaso, kung dili imo lang ipa-specify ang alleged defect sa complaint or information nga gi-file sa imo. So that before ka basahan, maka-defensa ka or maka-prepare ka unsa imong tubag ug unsa imong defensa in the course of trial. Okay. Then, kung dili man galing ka mag-file og motion to quash, pwede ka i-challenge nimo ang validity sa arrest, di ba? Mo nang last week nagisgot ta og rules on arrest, di ba? Search and seizures. Ato nang gisgutan. So unsa imong buhaton kung gidakop ka karon? Then, of course, the most common language nato is, sir, illegal man ang pagdakop, sir. Illegal man ang pagkandak sa search and seizures. Ang pangutana dira is that if you believe and if you allege nga naay illegality sa arrest, kanus man nimo na erase ang issue nimo? When can you raise that issue? When can you challenge? Di ba? Imong i-challenge ba nga, sir, illegal man yung pagdakop sa ako. So that is why you have to consider that before arraignment. Meaning, you can challenge the validity of the arrest, the illegality of the arrest, anytime before arraignment. And what is the effect, sir, kung after arraignment, wala nimo challenge ang validity sa pagdakop nimo? So, simple lang. It's deemed waiver of your right. Just like, kung dili nimo i-file ang motion to quash as a rule, the same gyapon, imong gi-waive ang imong procedural rights under the rules of court in relation to the rights of the person under the Constitution. Now, issue. Di ba? May a person who pleaded guilty, sir, be acquitted? Di ba? Kana siya nga pangutana ba? Gi-charge ta for crime or nanay information, gibasahan ta. Nag-plead guilty ta. Di ba? Nabay possibility nga ma-acquitted ta. Now, take note, if the accused is permitted to present evidence after his plea of guilty to a non-capital offense, then, nakita dito that the accused is not guilty of the crime charge. The accused must be acquitted. Diba? So, posible man na siya. Because based sa imong perception, imo ra guna. Gibasahan ta, so, feel na to nga sadaan ta, so atong giangkon, sir, guilty, sir. But take note, the judge will decide on the basis yapon sa evidence because the judge will not merely rely diretso sa imong not guilty. Mabitan na ingon nila nga, so you have to present evidence to, of course, to prove possible nga mga precise, for the court to determine the precise degree of culpability in which they can impose against the accused. So manaingon niya din, di ba? The accused must be acquitted for there is no rule which provides that simply because the accused pleaded guilty to the charge, that his conviction automatically follows. So dili manaingon ako sa inyo, dili man siya automatic na convicted ka. Pero that's the kwan din siya. Mga gina sa scenario. Ibasahan ka, giangkon ka, so definitely guilty juga. But take note, if the court found out that based on the evidence, di ba, adduced by both parties, the court found out nga dili man kaasadan. So pwede ka i-acquit sa judge. So additional evidence in defendant of the plea may be considered to convince the judge that it was intelligently made. Okay. So we will now proceed to motion to quash in Rule 117. Yeah. So what is motion to quash? Yeah. When to file motion to quash? Yeah. In criminal case, motion to quash is used, but in civil, that is kanang gitawag na to motion to dismiss. So again, at any time, as we emphasize ganina, unsay posible nga remedy sa akusado kung wala pa siya basahe or before arraignment. So we emphasize that pwede ka mag-file og motion to quash. Unaingon niya, the accused may move to quash the complaint or information. Now, what are the forms and contents of motion to quash? So take note, ang motion to quash, it must be in writing. Dili pwede nga verbal lang na siya. So that is why expressly made and signed by the accused or his counsel. And of course, you have to specify the factual and legal grounds ngano imong ipa-dismiss ang information or complaint. Take note, the court shall not consider no ground other than those stated in the motion, except lack of jurisdiction over the offense charge. So, in writing, signed by the accused and his counsel, and of course, you have to state the legal ground as stated under this rule. So, take note na ay mga ground sa motion to quash. Makita na niyo in section 3. So, one is that the fact charge do not constitute an offense. So, that is one of the reason why balik ta sa what are the elements of complaint? What are the elements of information? So, that is why you have to state the allegations of the complaint. What constitute the crime? What are the elements of crime? That is why if you will not be able to state that grounds or the crimes nga imong gi-file, dili makita dito nga it warrant for kanang gitawag nato nga felony or crime in general, then if you are the accused, atong ipa-dismiss or ikwas nato. Then the court trying the case has no jurisdiction over the offense charge. So example, crimes kung naisabol by Sandigang Bayan, gi-file nimo og RTC, definitely RTC gina siya or vice versa. That the court trying the case has no jurisdiction over the persons of the accused. So wala kay jurisdiction because in the first place kanon sa man maka-acquire kag jurisdiction. So una is gipailan, then nag-voluntary surrender. Or that the officer who filed information has or had no authority to do so. So mo nang reason nga kumubalik ta sa Rule 118, it's a day pwede nga mo prosecute sa complaint or information. So that is why as a rule shall be under the control and directions of the fiscal. Though we understand nga na ay mga exception, like for example nga dili pwede prosecute without the complaint filed by the offended party, katong kasada and other exception. Diba? Or that more than one offense is charged except when a single punishment for various offenses prescribed by law. Diba? Manang in every complaint, in every information, dapat mag-constitute lang sa one crime. Dili pwede criminal case number 1, rape, estafa, physical injury, dili na pwede sa. So ang exception lang dira is katong complex crime as we learn in Article 48. Diba? Or special complex crime, like for example, robbery with homicide. Pwede na siya. That it contain averment which, if true, would constitute illegal excuse or justification. Diba? So, legal excuse meaning it will exempt the person from criminal liability. Or that the accused has been previously convicted or acquitted of the offense charge. So, that is why natay concept sa double jeopardy. So, ang akusado na, ang kaso na dismiss na acquitted na akusado, then gipailan siya balik. So, pwede siya mag-file og motion to quash. On sa ground, double jeopardy. So, you have to consider the enumerated ground. So, for purposes of Rule 117, of course, you have to memorize what are the grounds nga pwede nimo ikwas ang complaint or information. So, what are the requirements of double jeopardy? Because I know you are you are also familiar with double jeopardy under your human rights education, because this is one of the constitutional rights of the accused. So, take note when the accused has been convicted or acquitted. So, meaning, pwede ka na convicted, pwede ka na acquitted. Or the case against him was dismissed or otherwise terminated without his express consent. Take note the word, without express consent. Upon valid complaint or information, or other formal charge sufficient in form and substance to sustain conviction, and after the accused has pleaded to the charge, the conviction or acquittal of the accused or dismissal of the case, take note the word there, shall be barred to another prosecution for the offense charge. How to simplify that? So example, gipailan ta og robbery last 2015. The case was filed in court. Then, after trial, acquitted ta. Or kung di man galing acquitted, convicted ta. After ta na convicted or acquitted, so gipailan ta og balik. So after ta na convicted, so giserbisyuhan na to. After we finish serving sentence, definitely extinguish man ang criminal liability. So balik tag community. So sa netabo sir, gipaila na pud ta for the same act, for the same crime in which we are already convicted or the case was dismissed or we are acquitted. So mo na example nga dili na pwede. Mo na ingon niya dira, or any attempt to commit the same or prostration thereof for any offense which necessarily includes or necessarily included in the offense charge in the former complaint or information. Now, take note for purposes of this topic, you have to consider this topic. You have to submit a reaction paper on the movie of Double Jeopardy. So, dali ra na niyo ma-download na sa kwan. Tanawan ng salida sa Double Jeopardy, then pag-comment nila. Katong senaryo nga, of course, ang asawa, gipailan siya agpa-reside, in which ang iyang asawa dahil, o iyang bana is, buhi. It was fabricated. Most likely fabricated ba? So, sa nitabo, he was convicted. After sa iyang conviction, of course, gigrant siya og parol. While nakaparol siya, so nakita niya iyang bana og balik. Di ba? So, sa reason nga no na convicted siya, because he was charged for the crime na iyang gipatay ang bana, allegedly. So, sa iyang gibuhat, to simplify the story, iyang gipatay iyang bana og balik. Di ba? Gipatay na iyang bana. Actually, dili gipatay balik, kay patay naman. So, iyang, for that period or for that time, iyang napatay iyang bana. So, most likely, gipailan siya og the same crime. So, unsay iyang gi-invoke, that's double jeopardy. So, that is why you have to consider that. Then, of course, in isa lang kapapil, di ba? You have to make a reaction out of that activity in relation to this topic, double jeopardy. So, you have to consider that. Dali rin na sa download ngayon. It's old movie na siya. College pa ko na. But it's a good movie in relation to the subject, double jeopardy. Now, what are the exceptions to the requirement of double jeopardy? So, na exception. So, one is, kanang gitawag na to nga, however, the convictions of the accused shall not be barred to another prosecutions for the offense which necessarily includes of the offense charged in the former complaint on information under the following circumstances. So, unsa exception daw? So, one, the graver offense developed due to the supervening facts arising from the same acts or omissions. Muna gitawag na to nga, doctrine of supervening event or cause. So, may example yan ni sir. I will give you an example. Gicharge ko niya prostrated homicide. Okay? So, while ang prostrated homicide file, ang biktima ba is naka-hospital pa, na-ICU man. Or prostrated murder, posible man na. Di man gigawin yung charge of consummated, kaya buhi pa man. Ang problema lang, ang biktima is na ICU. For a period of time, dugay kayo. So, gipailan ko og kaso, pero ang biktima is na hospital pagyapon. So, pila ra istorya, so nag-play guilty ko for the crime of prostrated murder or homicide. Diba? So, gisintensyahan. Ang pangutana, after sentence was imposed, 2 weeks or 1 week or a day before, di ba? A day after. Ang biktima ba wala gid nakasurvive, namatay. So assuming you try to imagine. So ang biktima kung kita tong akusado, ang biktima wala nakasurvive, namatay. As a consequence, gifile ang of course murder or homicide. Dili na prostrated. So, nag-invoke tag double jeopardy. Ang double jeopardy, masustain ba? Take note, the exception is dili. One, muna niya, the graver offense developed due to the supervening facts arising from the same acts or omission constituting the former facts. Diba? So, muna yung mga. Then, the facts constituting the graver offense become known or were discovered only after plea was entered in the former complaint or information. Or the plea of guilty to the lesser offense was made. Take note na. Manang reason ka ganina nga kung mag-plea guilty gali to lesser offense, kinahanglan na consent. Sir, unsay may tabo, sir, kung walay consent sa prosecutor or the offended party. Manangon niya, the plea of guilty, sa letter C, the plea of guilty to lesser offense was made without the consent. Wala man pagtugot. Yeah. Except as provided in section 1, paragraph F of Rule 116. Kung sa ganito exception, gitagaan kag notice. Ma'am, the exception. So example, kita ang complainant, gitagaan tag notice as to the schedule nga dapat motungan ka kay na plea bargaining. Wala ta nito nga, without reason. Or ningon ta nga, sir, wala may kato nga, sir, kay na-mista mi. Definitely, that is not justifiable nga reason. Yeah. So for that, dili siya ma-apply. So but take note and remember, you have to consider the exception of the requirement of double jeopardy. Ang principle na mo ni sa gitawag na doctrine of supervening cause. When the graver offense develop due to the supervening facts arising from the same acts or omissions of the accused. Now, sir, unsa effect, sir, kung i-sustain ang motion to quash? Di ba? If the motion to quash is sustained, the court may order that another complaint or permission be filed except as provided in Section 6 of this rule. Katong dili na pwede, barred by statute of limitation. Di ba? Sa example lang ang kaso, gipile na to. Simple na lang kayo. Ang penalty sa crime, kung dili gali mula pas og 6 years, MTC man na. Kung sa netabo, gipile na to og RTC. Ika daw. Simple imong buhaton. Sir, walay jurisdiction ang korte. Nga naman, dapat sa MTC ni. Okay? So, nagpile, tag motion to quash, gigran. So, sa man itong buhaton, kung kita ang complainant, kita ang prosecution, atong i-refile. Manaybot pasabot dira. Di ba? Maningon niya, the court may order that another complaint or information be filed except as provided. So that is why, kung ang kaso gi-file by or information not authorized by law, so dapat ang imong ipapile katong authorized by law. Dapat definitely the fiscal or the prosecutor ang mo-file. Now, is the order sustaining the motion to quash a bar to another prosecution? Is absolute ba siya? Is the rule absolute? So dili siya absolute. Maningon niya, an order sustaining the motion to quash is not a bar to another prosecution. So, unsay buhaton na to, sir? So, katakong gingon sa inyo, kaya wala man kay jurisdiction ng MTC, di, ato i-file balik dito sa RTC. Will it this fiscal prosecute the case before the RTC? Because ang RTC may na jurisdiction or vice versa. Pero, ingon niya, unless, di ba, the motion was based on the ground of that the criminal action or liability has been extinguished. So, kani sila. Mamanang gitawag na ito nga prescriptions of crime. So, di, naging na siya pwede ni ma-refile. That the accused has been previously convicted. Mamanang itong i-discuss kagay na double jeopardy. So, that is the only exception. So, ang iyong bantayan, ang exception nga dili pwede na i-refile o balik ang kaso kung prescriptions of crime or double jeopardy. Take note of that. Now, sir, what is the effect of failure to quash, di ba? Or allege any ground? So, nabay exception siya. So, take note, the failure of the accused to assert any ground of motion to quash, madaling ganina is waiver man na siya. Either because he did not file a motion to quash or failed to allege the same in the said motion. Take note the word shall be deemed waiver. Muna ako sa inyo kaganina, nga og dili ka mo file og motion to quash before arraignment, imong gi-waive imong rights. Pero take note, dili man siya absolute. So bantayan to nato ang grounds nga dili ma-waive. Kay mo man say pangutana, what are the grounds of motion to quash in section 3 of this rule nga dili pwede ma-waive? So kanang paragraph A, balikan to nimo paragraph B, J and I. So lack of jurisdiction, prescriptions of crime, double jeopardy. So kana siya dili gina pwede maingon ka nga waiver. So anytime you can file that a motion as a grounds to dismiss as an affirmative defense. So gamiton nimo siya as affirmative defense. Then what are the grounds of motion to quash? Di ba? Are not waived even if not alleged. So, mo naman itong gisgutan nga gina in relation to this. That is why the fact charged do not constitute an offense. Walay jurisdiction ang korte, di ba? Ang criminal action or liability has been extinguished. Ato nang simplify, mo man gitawag nato nga prescriptions of crime. That the accused has been previously convicted, mo man natong gisimplify nga concept sa double jeopardy. So that is why that is the grounds. So mo nang as a rule, so waiver siya. Pero there are grounds nga dili siya ma-waive. Mo na kung pangutanon ka, what are the grounds of motion to quash nga dili siya ma-waive if not availed before entering plea? So you enumerate the 4 answers. So muna say, tubag. Now, state the effect if the accused has already been convicted to a lesser offense and has served his sentence but later or prosecuted and convicted to a graver offense. So, sa may tapos. So, kana siya, Kim, that is your second assignment. Di ba? So, that is second yung assignment. You have to consider that. So, this is your second assignment. That is why I leave the answer out of that questions. So, aside na siya sa katong reaction paper on sa movie sa Double Jeopardy. You have to consider that. Okay. Now, when may a case be provisionally dismissed? Di ba nag-file man kag motion to kwas? Okay. Sir, gigran sir. Unsay may tabo sir? So, dismiss is provisional. From the word provisional is temporary. So, unsay akong buhaton sir? So, di ba naingon ang discussion to kay na dapat imong i-refile balik. Unsay may tabo sir kung ang kaso provisionally dismissed. So, take note kung ang case gali is cognizable by the RTC, if it is not refiled after 2 years, that provisional dismissal become permanent. In cases cognizable by the MTC or not more than 6 years, then after 1 year. So, muna inyong bantayan. So, kung ato nang isimplify, di ba? Makita ninyo nga, sir, kung ang kaso cognizable by RTC or penalty more than 6 years, so kanus aman ang provisional dismissal mahimong permanent. Gikan sa temporary to final or partial to kanang itawag nato nga final. So after 2 years. Sa MTC, after 1 year. Muna ingon niya dira, di ba? The provisional dismissal of offenses punishable by imprisonment not exceeding 6 years, di ba? Shall become final or permanent 1 year after. That is why it becomes final after 1 year. Kung ang penalty ko no is more than 6 years, so ang dismissal become permanent 2 years after nga gi-issue. Manaingon niya, without the case having been revived. So take note of that. This is a favorite question in the board exam. When provisional dismissal become permanent. So simple lang, after 2 years, after 1 year, as the case may be in MTC or RTC. Take note of that. Now, what are the consideration in motion to? So, bantayan na doon na siya. Other consideration. Provisional dismissal. So, take note, a trial court may not order a provisional dismissal of the case without the express consent of the accused. Take note the word express consent. That is why, inform ka. The trial court cannot, on its own, provisionally dismiss the case. Nor can it dismiss it provisionally without express consent of the prosecutor. So, dili na sagad pwede. That is why, kung ikaw ang complainant, dapat informed mo. Then, the provisional dismissal of the offense punishable by imprisonment not exceeding 1 year. So, that is 1 year after. So, ito na nang gisigutan previously. Otherwise, if the penalty imposed is more than 2 years, then 2 years, 6 years, or cognizable by the RTC, their provisional dismissal shall become permanent after 2 years. So, banay naman na siya. Then another consideration, of course, double jeopardy. Ato lang nang ibalik. So the right against double jeopardy prohibit the prosecutions of the crime of which he has been previously convicted or acquitted. So mamana say consideration. The rule is when a person is charged with an offense and the case is terminated either by acquittal or conviction or in any other manner without express consent of the accused, the latter cannot again be charged with the same or identical offense. So, dili na jud ka pwede pailan og aso. Okay. So, there are 2 kinds of double jeopardy. So, no person shall be put twice in jeopardy for the same offense, or when an act punished by law and an ordinance, conviction or acquittal under either shall be barred to another prosecution for the same act. Take note of that. So, dili pwede nga pailan kang balik. Okay. So, unsay bot pasabot na ng the same offense, sir? So, offense are penalized either by different section of the same law or by different statute. Take note of that. Okay. Now, what are the requisites of double jeopardy? So, that will be our last topic. So, 1, the accused has been convicted or acquitted. So, the same rin po na. Mura na siya concept definition. Imo lang gibungkag. Or the case against him was dismissed or terminated without his express consent. Second, the conviction or acquittal or dismissal was made by the court with competent jurisdiction. Malagyan lang kung RTC, more than 6 years. Then there is a valid complaint or information or other formal charge is sufficient in form and substance to sustain conviction. Then, of course, the accused pleaded to the charge. So that will be our discussion for this meeting. And of course, next Saturday, we will start pre-trial and trial. So you expect nga na-analyze tulo ka meetings that will end our discussion. Then after that, we'll have a validation of our discussion. So diha na rin ta mag-assign by group kinsay matawag or kinsay schedule na, di ba? Pero definitely ang schedule is random. Random yun na siya. So you have to prepare in advance. And of course, your guide for you to pass is of course the activities, questions in the activities. So you better answer that and you have to study because source of question are taken out of the activity or questions provided by this class. Any questions or clarification? Sa dili pa ta mag-break or mag-dismiss dahil? So if none, then thank you for your presence. So at least niabot ta og 60 kapin. And again, sa dili pa ko malimot, ang activity number 5, ako lang iatag ni Ma'am Kim. Then you have to submit that first next Saturday. So other questions on the guide questions in the subject. Because that activity is guide questions in this subject. So thank you and see you next week.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Salamat, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Good day.
Thank you, sir.
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 Lantod Basit.
God bless.
Appreciate.
Basit.
Basit.
Tama. Tatlit.
Mm-mm.
Eh, may doon na si Basit.